That's not how it works.
This looks really cool.
Delegates, welcome back to our closing ceremony. I hope the last few community sessions of RichMUN have filled you with extended joy. Now, we would like to extend our thanks to you, our delegates, for making this weekend a remarkable memory for RichMUN. Whether it was the thunderous table banging that united you all closer, the collaborative efforts that your bloc put in to draft up a revolutionary solution, or the occasional redirection to blame China for a range of our world's problems, I hope you gained something new this weekend. Memories, confidence, friendships, or a newfound passion for international relations and debate, whatever you walk away with today will grow into something important to you as a person. I would now like to welcome Chris.
We would also like to thank our dedicated media team, Kaylin, Jean, Ariane, Rebecca, Eric, and Elaine for continuously working hard and taking photos in each committee room, timelessly documenting the hopefully positive memories made in the committee rooms. I believe they've enjoyed capturing a wide range of moments, from diplomatic debates to the murder of many delegates. Also, hearing all the positive feedback about RichMUN 2023, I would like to thank all the delegates for bravely registering for this conference. Also, I hope all of you register for next year's even better iteration of RichMUN. I would now like to pass it back to Kelly.
Thank you, Chris. Now, before we enter director's speeches, I would like to take this opportunity to present a very special award to a dear friend of mine. She's been a vital part of our conference this weekend, and our secretariat team has become closer and stronger together with her positive energy that fills every room. Like many, I found a new interest in Model UN because of someone that pushed me to try something new. As I strive to put myself out there, even outside of MUN, I came to appreciate the impact of having a mentor and a friend to guide me along my journey. From the moment I met her, she came up to me with enthusiasm shining in her eyes and invited me to attend RichMUN. It was the first ever conference I had attended as a delegate, and ever since then, I've looked up to her as someone who I strive to learn from more and more every day. Whether it was our late night conversations staring at the ceiling, the life advice and inside jokes that we would share, or the occasional side-eye to each other, this friendship would not have been possible without our Model UN journey bringing us closer along the way. Claire, as you embark on the closing of your last conference, I hope that you are reminded that you have given so much to the people around you, the staff and secretariat. are so grateful to have you as your SecGen for this iteration. I would like to present the quote-unquote not bad award to our quote-unquote clearly wonderful Secretary General of RichMUN. I would now like to welcome William.
Well, come on, I expected more. With all that said, we will now move on to the moment we've been waiting for. Delegates, your most beloved DICE teams. Before I stop stalling, I would like to thank all of my DICE teams in general. From asking you what the meaning of life was in your interviews, to the late nights we spent awake. I cannot thank you enough. With that being said, we will now like to invite the United Nations Human Rights Council.
Delegates and staff, my name is Selena Q, and for the past half a year, I've had the honor of staffing the 5th iteration of RichMUN Model United Nations, serving as the director of the United Nations Human Rights Council, the, in my opinion, best RichMUN committee. I say best because over the past 2 days, I have witnessed first-time delegates blossom into resolution paper sponsors and unmoderated caucus debaters who require multiple decorums to be returned to their seats. And over the past 2 days, I have witnessed delegates who at first needed a note of encouragement from us to speak, learn to write the most unhinged directives I have ever read, such as the increasingly intense Bloom's Tower Defense Directive or the cult-like conversion to Matthewism. And over the past 2 days, we have not only rated both HCC and SCO with our impromptu singing of God Save the King, but we have also quelled a crisis of sentient super monkeys by way of several million BTS Army and Gundam robots, aided by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. And Ed Sheeran. This was one of the most memorable committees I have ever had the pleasure of staffing, so some thank yous are in order. To Matthew, your presence as a chair makes the committee all the more lively and positive, and your presence as a friend is even more valuable. Thank you for teaching me how to tie knots with my tie, and for maintaining uncomfortably intense eye contact with me every time we enter the same elevator. And to Alex, your role in UNHRC elevates this committee from a good committee to, as the Russian Federation so eloquently put it, a #girlboss committee. Thank you. For your diligent sharing, detailed planning, and your monkey slideshow template. And to the delegates, thank you for coming to UNHRC. Whether you never raise a placard again, or if I will see you at every single hotel conference in Vancouver for the remainder of my high school years, I hope you step away from this campus with sharpened public speaking, diplomacy, and leadership skills. I hope you go home with one more friend, or maybe 10, since these unlikely Model UN friendships are the best part of the sport. But some delegates will come home with a little bit more. For their exemplary performance, a select few delegates will be given awards. That said, if you do not receive an award, understand that awards are a one-dimensional measure of one skill based on potentially arbitrary criteria decided by several high schoolers. In no way does it mean you are a lesser diplomat, debater, or person. But if you are awarded, take your certificate home knowing that you have been recognized as having gone above and beyond in the pursuit of diplomacy. With that said, best research goes to the United Kingdom. Honorable mention goes to South Africa. Outstanding delegate goes to Myanmar. And best delegate goes to the United States. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now like to welcome the North Atlantic Treaty Organization.
Michael Wang, are you ready? Yes, I'm ready. Thank you. That concludes the mic check. Come on, guys. Delegates, Secretariat, honored guests, and fellow staff. My name is Max Chen, and it's been my absolute pleasure to direct the North Atlantic Treaty Organization this weekend. For the past 2 days, delegates in the NATO committee had to resolve one of the most pressing issues of our modern times, the Russo-Ukrainian war. Debating and discussing the most difficult topic a committee could face, delegates went above and beyond any of my expectations and managed to rapidly find a solution. In our sauna-like room, NATO had fun times creating funny burns like Rapid Dog, the guest speeches from the Russian and Kievan Rus delegates, and an arm wrestle between the United States and Canada that resulted in the United States being assassinated by the method of pure American death. America's own allies went for the US to be doused with oil, lit on fire, and torn apart by eagles. And America ended up being reincarnated 3 separate times as a random Texan with a southern accent, a slug that ended up being stepped on for attempting to interrogate the dice, and a mini pickup from the hit game Clash Royale. I never would have expected the American delegate to be as greedily capitalistic as they are all portrayed, distributing kazoos into every member of the committee and annoying the SEO delegates to no end. I will also never forget when Roshan Milwani from Sounds Taylor came into our committee. 18-year-old boy to model his newest NATO uniforms. While this hasn't been my first directorship, it is my first director's speech, and I want to thank all delegates for making it so easy to write. This weekend, especially today, was filled with so many memorable moments. But I could have never directed this committee without my loyal Dias team, to Tiffany, my competent chair. Your stern nature, ability to keep delegates settled and prevent them from talking over one another managed to balance out my upbeat nature that I got a 3.3 for. Michael, my amicable assistant director, your ability to manage RichMUN while I also relegated you to flex staff tasks was quite impressive. NATO would not have ran as smoothly and entertaining with any other staff members. On behalf of the entire Dias team, I'd like to thank you all for choosing to spend your weekend in the NATO committee and sticking with us through every bump we faced. To break David Shah's director's speech time record, I'm now going to improv thank yous for all of the secretariat. To Kelly, thank you for allowing me to pester you by choosing delegates in my committee and adding new ones the day before the conference. To Amber, I'd like to thank you for letting me ear you about the progress of our map. Chris, I'd like to thank you for me. I really asked you to ask more of my friends and letting them be added to the media team. William, thank you for also allowing me to awkwardly beg you to quickly edit my background. And Claire, thank you for letting me annoy you in general. We hope hope that this experience for you has been enriching as it has been for us, and that the knowledge and skills that you've acquired here will serve you all in your future endeavors. Maybe you gained the courage to speak, maybe you checked off something on your MUN bucket list that the most esteemed Secretary General clearly recommended you do, or maybe you learned the favorite lesson I enjoy imparting on delegates, to be more detailed and specific. Hopefully the next time you vote to forcibly remove a chair, you will specify that it is Michael Wang, and not the object that I took out of the room. Before I go into the real deal, I would like to remind you all that a piece of paper with your name on it will not get you a full scholarship to Harvard. I sincerely apologize to all the delegates who believe that. So trust me, this piece of paper won't even get you into the school we are currently in right now. After a 4-minute and 15-second speech. Best research goes to the United States, honorable mention goes to Slovakia, outstanding delegate goes to Turkey, and last but not least, best delegate goes to Bulgaria. Thank you for turning our vision into reality.
Yours is still blue. Your Kathy looks like I done
Wow. We would now like to welcome the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. For war!
Jack, yes? Alright, improv starts now. Quiet, Nito. Quiet, come on. Good afternoon, delegates, staff, and distinguished guests. My name is Jimmy Wang, and it has been my distinguished honor this weekend to serve as your director for the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, the better organization against NATO. As I was drafting the speech a very few brief moments ago, I thought about what it was I wanted my delegates to take away from this conference. Suddenly, as my train of thought was interrupted by a Metro X21 freestyle between Luke and William, it hit me. Maybe violence wasn't the answer to everything. From the constant request for right of reply, for comments that did not even infringe on national integrity, to the generous donations of food by the DICE team after lunch, to the eyebrow-raising collaboration with our fellow NATO, our committee has subdued crisis upon crisis through debate, diplomacy, and tact. And thus, this is my best wish that you can look back at this experience fondly and remember how you have been able to resolve conflict after conflict through a few short 1-minute simple speeches, half-ripped notes, and overly loud table bangings. With that in mind, I turn my attention to these two around me. First, thank you to my distinguished chair, Kevin. Thank you for being always on top of your duties and chairing the committee with your immense knowledge in MUN procedure and vast list of pertaining adjectives. Next, thank you to my scholarly assistant director, Tyler. Thank you for always supporting our committee from the back, taking detailed notes on every speech and chairing occasionally, all while providing me with some of the best Krispy Kreme I've ever tasted in my life. Finally, I'd like to thank you, my fellow delegates. Thank you for making my first directorship such an unforgettable experience. I will never forget. Now, the time you probably all wanted to skip to the most, awards. This one phrase is probably one of the most repeated phrases in MUN, but that just goes to show how true it really is. Remember, all delegates, that awards, again, are in no means an indication of your abilities or contributions to the committee. They're simply a way for the dais to recognize through a few pieces of paper and maybe a piece of wood that there are certain individuals in our committee who went beyond and above in achieving diplomacy. With that being said, honorable mention goes to the delegation of Russia A, outstanding delegate goes to the delegation of Egypt B, Best country goes to the 2 delegations of China. And last but not least, best delegate goes to someone who has one of the best strips I've ever seen, Kazakhstan A.
I now invite the Historical Crisis Committee.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Adela Jeunesse, and I have had the distinct honor of serving as the director of the Historical Crisis Committee. Over the past 2 days, really amazing delegates have deeply debated the Spanish conquest of the Aztec Empire, a future-inspired crisis, and of course, the necessity of human sacrifices. Delegates, your over 185 directives, over 250 speeches, 4 assassinations, and countless notes have forever changed me. Your critical and definitely creative thinking, passion, and growth have made this weekend so memorable. I'd also like to take this time to thank 2 people that made running this committee very possible. Matthew. Where do I even begin? Thank you for your incredible knowledge about basically all of Aztec history, your pronunciation, your vibe, and yourself. Luke, my processing savior. Your persuasion, ideas, and military knowledge still baffles me. Thank you for all your help this weekend. Now, for the time we've all been waiting for, awards. We've heard this 1st times already, but I would like to remind all of you that awards are not a measure of your achievements over this weekend, but they're just here to recognize a few people that have really gone above and beyond. Before I state awards, I would like to remind one person, Matthew, that your one last and final job is to not laugh at my pronunciation. Okay, with this being said, Ben, stop laughing at me. Best research goes to Max's cattle. You have failed your one last job. Okay. Honorable mention goes to Quitla and Thawanar. Outstanding delegate goes to Sakalel. And best delegate goes to Moctezuma II, who finished the conference as Moctezuma I. Congratulations, delegates.
And finally, I invite the International Press Corps Class.
David!
Alright, just a preface of this, I did not script my speech, so everything that I say now will be like your typical MUN speech, fully improvised. So firstly, I would like to clarify that IPC Plus is certainly one of the committees of all time, and it has never been run before and will probably never be run again, so I appreciate all the delegates who were daring, brave enough to sign up for this committee, and I hope you all had a wonderful time. And of course, I want to clarify that IPC Plus having it as a committee was no excuse and was certainly not a mechanism for Owen and I to be playing poker or singing songs in the ceremonies room. So even though we were a bit unproductive, I have to give everyone that. And now for a few thank yous. So firstly, I've thanked this man beside me a million times already. I don't think one more time won't hurt. But thank you to Owen for, it's been 13 years, 12, 13 years of friendship, and for being such a wonderful co-director for me in IPC Plus. And I also have to thank my better half, Joseph Ye, for also helping me run IPC Plus today. And yesterday, I have to remember. All right. And of course, I have to thank our wonderful RichMUN 2023 Secretariat team here, without whom I would not have had the best closing Model U animations experience of my entire high school journey. And lastly, for the part you've all been waiting for, a great man once said, what was the quote? The noblest and unquestionably most exceptional aspect of the pen is its ability to immortalize the word of great people. And today, I'd like to bestow this honor upon the best news agency, Xinhua News Agency. Special shout out to, of course, the members of Xinhua News, Eddie Chin, Sarah Di Sabatino, and Shaylin Brushan Ming Dong Xing. And yeah, I love all of you. I love everyone in this room. Thank you so much. Good night.
Yeah, Eddie! No. Young Chinese male!
With that being said, that concludes all awards at the 8th iteration of RichMUN. Hear, hear. I now invite Claire to give us some final remarks.
I can't reach this. Okay. See, I did write some things to say, but after all that, I kind of don't want to read off of it. But first of all, thank you, staff, and congratulations to all the delegates who, even if you didn't win an award, I hope you won something at this conference that you can walk away with proudly. And I hope that this weekend has been enjoyable for everyone. So now I would like to take this time for some thank yous. So first of all, for all the staff members. Thank you for your creativity and hard work. And I think this is the one iteration where I didn't have to worry so much about the staff. Like, although your work was often not quite completed on time and required multiple extensions, we still appreciate each and every one of you for taking the time and standing up to contribute to our conference. To the delegates, I hope that you were able to do the 3 things that I challenged you to do this weekend and can walk away with meaningful memories. Of course, this all would have been impossible without the secretariat team and our board. First, Kelly. I don't think anything I can say can top what you said for me earlier, but I genuinely think you're one of the hardest working people I've ever met, and I thank you so much for taking the time out of your extremely busy schedule to help us with RichMUN. And having done delegate affairs last year, I know how much work this is, and this year, being our largest iteration yet, must have been an incredible weight upon your workload. Yes, yet you still pulled it off meticulously and were able to patiently respond to all the delegates' inquiries. I'm extremely grateful for RichMUN for bringing us closer, and I hope that we can continue our friendship years and years in the future. Amber. What I wrote on my document simply says, map.
Thank you so much for all the last minute design work and all the squatting there in the ceremony room. And also, I wish her sincerely all the best, for she is one of the also hardest working. Everyone here on this team is extremely hardworking. I think they're all like 10 times more hardworking than me for their hard work. And yeah, I would also like to take this time to thank. I just think that Model UN has been the one thing that, when I say it has been the pillar of my high school experience, I sincerely mean it has been a pillar of my high school experience. Without it, I would never be able to stand in front of a crowd of like 100 or more people and just speak complete improv. And also, MUN has been the one thing that has allowed me to meet so many of my closest friends and amazing people. The end of a conference always brings me many mixed feelings. On one hand, we can reflect on the amazing experiences, new friendships, and finally go home and crash for 12 consecutive hours. On the other hand, even though we might finally have a bed to sleep on, we have to go back to our daily lives, with no dice team to yell at us for using personal pronouns or going overtime, and no enthusiastic table knocks during our interesting anecdotes. Having gone through essentially the whole checklist of Model UN roles, delegating, media staff, staffing, secretariat, RichMUN not only symbolizes the end of the year in Model UN, but also for me, the end of my Model UN journey in high school. I'm so incredibly grateful for letting me gain, for MUN for letting me gain my most important skills, and I would like to iterate again, meet my closest friends. I hope that Model UN, and especially RichMUN, was able to light a spark in all of you to continue your high school MUN journey, or for those of you who are graduating like me, remember it as a crucial part of your experience forever. Once again, thank you all so much for making my final high school experience so incredibly memorable. So now, are there any points for motions on the floor? Jimmy.
Motion to suspend the day, close the day.
Okay.
Bro, it's 2 words, man.
Yes. Okay. That is in order. All those in favor of this motion, please raise your hands now. This passes.